Dazgud Toofrippas Kollij of Orkinomikz is an orc tribe led by the Professor Dazgud Toofrippa. Dazgud himself is known as something of a mathematical genius among orcs and regularly uses his financial and diplomatic acumen to amass massive wards and sell their services to the highest bidder, no matter who or what the bidder may be. From Inquisitors to Chaos Lords, Pharaons to Chasseaux, Autarchs to Archons, Dazgud will accept work from anyone as long as they can meet his often outrageous prices. No one is quite sure how Dazgud first rose to power or how he became so intelligent. Multiple stories of his origins exist, each less probable than the last. Some say that he was hauled off to Komorak by the Drukhari and that the homunculi experimented with his brain before unleashing him upon the galaxy for a good laugh. Others whisper that he may be the first of a new generation of the mythical Brain Boys. Others still claim that his brain was replaced with that of an Imperial Commissar, though they are most likely confusing him with Warbus Mansa of the Emerald Elite. Even the Eldari whisper that he may be a member of the long-lost Krork, the precursors of the orcs created by the Old Ones who helped fight off the Necrons during the War in Heaven. Among the Ordo Xenos, the current most accepted theory is that the power of the war itself may have increased his intelligence. At some point, Dazgud must have performed some particularly cunning feat, with word of his intelligence spreading throughout his tribe. The more his fellow orcs believed him to be particularly smart, the more true it became through the sheer power of that belief. Sadly, it is currently impossible to tell which of these possibilities, if any, are true. For the most part, the Kollij of Orkinomikz ends up working out pretty similarly to most other orc tribes, where rank is determined by how big and strong an orc is, with specialized roles filled by Ord Boys. Where they differ, however, is in their recruitment. Instead of the usual bullying of weaker orcs into obedience, Dazgud will begin by holding seminars in his Orkademy that offer to teach orcs how to get rich. See attached file for a compilation of sound clips taken from Ordo Xenos agents. Interesting. Tech Priest, please activate the Orcish Gothic translator. Activate attached file.
Welcome to Dazgud Toofrippas Kollij of Orkinomikz. If you stab a grot with a orc tooth, and you bash another grot with a bag of 100 Yumi teeth, the grots are equally dead. That means 100 Yumi teeth are equal to 1 orc tooth. Eldar and Tau teeth are even wimpier than Yumis, so a 10 of them is worth 1 Yumi tooth. If someone pays you to crump a kid, and you wait to crump to get paying you till some other kid pays you, not only do you get more teeth, but the first kid might hire you again. If someone pays you to crump a kid that's paid you before, tell him first. They might give you more teeth to crump the kid and hire you. Then you can crump whichever one you want, or both. Don't crump someone who hires you right away, no matter how much of a git they are, because they might hire you again, and you get more teeth that way. Wait till some other kid pays you to, or until they tries to turn on you. Or you think they're gonna turn on you. Or they got something flash you want. Or they just looks at you funny. When you're stuffing your boys in a rock to land on a flush new planet to crump, make sure you fill up all the space inside. This is called the principle of efficiency. It means you get the most crumping for the least teeth you spit on the rock. If they land, they'll get unloaded much more of the attacker. If they crash and die, you don't have to pay that many more boys for fighting. I learned this neat trick when talking to Yumis. If you see them acting fishy, just give them a salute and say, Hydra Dominatus. You wouldn't believe how much some of them will pay us if you do. It's a trick I saw a spiky boy do once, and I don't know why it works, but it's worth trying. When a kid hires it and he looks like he won't again, you gotta find out where he keeps his teeth, or things that can be traded for teeth, and loot him real sneaky and cunning-like. Also, tell him you incurred expenses The things he didn't do, since he ain't gonna hire anymore anyway. This is called embezzlement. The most important thing to take, though, is info. Learn whatever you can about the git. Then, you can sell it to someone that hates him. And let's face it, every git like this has enemies. And maybe even get one of them enemies to hire you to crump him. Them Quizzer gits is the best customers. If I charge you an entire planet's worth of teeth, they might actually pay for it. If all of us invests in armour, we've got a better shot at crumping kits without them crumping back. Anything that keeps you crumping is good Orkinomikz.
What do you mean turning this thing off takes 12 hours of rites and 3 drums of sacred oils? Zog it, I'll just keep going. Eventually he's gonna pick a few students that seem promising and convince them to accept a business opportunity. The gits give him a small portion of their loot, and then they recruit other gits who's gonna give him a portion of their loot, who'll then recruit other gits themselves, and you know how it goes. The more they get them gits, the more loot they get, especially when their own recruits begin recruiting as well. By organising his tribe, which he calls a class, into a pyramid scheme structure like this, Dazgud's able to not only gather a huge number of forces in a short amount of time, but also manipulates his follower gits into maintaining quite the high degree of cohesion, at least by orc standards. This structure ensures that knobs ain't the only orcs with an incentive to keep other orcs from fleeing. The boys will also go out of their way to keep any others that they've recruited in the fight as well. Of course, this only lasts as long as those stuck in the scheme don't see through it. While it's exceedingly rare for the rank and file boys to do so, other war bosses who've been connected to Dazgud might be smart enough to figure it out. If Dazgud can't stamp these gits' voices of reason out before word spreads far enough, the entire structure of the tribe will collapse. When this happens, it forces Dazgud to resort to typical orc bullying to keep enough boys in line to kill the rebel gits. He'll then lead his remaining forces into some sort of suicidal situation, while he himself slips away, ensuring that none of those gits live to reveal his con to the next batch of boys when he starts again. Oi, tech boy! Is this really Orcish I'm talking? Would those gits understand? I'm not sure if the accent is quite correct. Well, it's not my fault it takes 12 hours. Zog it.